you might be a little bit confused about the title of this video. Um, since it's my birthday month, I wanted to share some little stories that aren't long enough to be like actual videos. So, yeah. I'm gonna start us off strong. 1 October, freshman year, or not freshman year, sophomore year. Okay, I'm going to start this off by saying, the way that we do, like, lockdown drills and fire drills and stuff, is if we hear the fire alarm go off, that means it's a lockdown drill. And then we stay in lockdown until they tell us to go outside for the fire drill, right? So, so one day, it's October, think this was right around when we were about to leave for fall break. It was the lunch period, fourth period. I was in my English class. I think we were reading Animal Farm, or learning about Animal Farm, or something along those lines. And we hear the fire alarm go off. So, we get into lockdown. Also, this was in D-Wing, which is, like, the first built section of the high school that I go to. It's the oldest. Like, my dad, when he was my age, like, he would just walk around D-Wing to get to his classes, right? And so, the fire alarms in that wing are really old. So they're not like, bah, bah. They're more like, that's a really bad impression. But you get my point. It's louder, and it's more whiny, I guess. And so, it goes off like that for, like, 10 minutes. Like, we're standing in the middle of the classroom. It's, like, lights turned off. The fire alarm's going off. We're just kind of standing. And so, the classroom next to us, we can see through our window that they have jumped out of the window of their class and started running, like, away from the school. Huh? So obviously, we start freaking out, and we're like, is this real? Like, what's happening? Is there, like, an actual shooter? And Mr. Theodore, my English teacher, God bless him, he's like, I don't know. And so we start, like, texting and calling our parents, obviously. And, like, so all the teachers have, like, walkie-talkies for situations like this. So walkie-talkies going off, and we hear other teachers being like, is this a drill? What's happening? What's going on? And, like, it's kind of ridiculous. But after the fire alarm went off, and getting no news, we just continued on with class like nothing was going on. It wasn't real. They think that there was a short in the fire alarms or something, that, like, caused that situation to happen. And I heard from people who had lunch at that time that one of the lunch monitors just told them to run. Hey, that's horrifying. Yeah, so that was fun. Really, really scary. Yeah. I plan to do, like, a whole video, on Mr. Theodore, because he's, like, the best teacher I've ever had. But in his class, he really liked to take us, like, outside of the classroom to do stuff. Like, he would have us up a bell ringer, and we would write a 2.6 paragraph, which, if you don't know what that is 2.6 sentences. And obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but, I would write a little bit more than that, because I can't get my whole thought process down in 6 sentences. And so there was one day, he took us out into the atrium which is like this big wide open area. On one side is like the choir and band room. One side leads to like the basement, quote unquote, that has like the JROTC, and then stairs to the auditorium. And so we were in there, and we were reading off our 2.6s. And then he was like, "I'm gonna get a little video of you guys doing the wave." It's it's like kind of ridiculous now that I'm saying it out loud, but that's what we did. We did the wave, and like, we all like held hands, and then we would like do the wave motion. You can't tell, but I'm doing it. And so what I did, I tried to get like lost in the sauce, and so I jumped when I waved both times because we did it clockwise and counter. And so when we got back to the classroom, like he sent it to himself so he could pull it up on his computer, and he was like, "I'm gonna give DK a little gift for jumping," and then he gave me a little pink monkey guy. I have him in my room right now. I was his favorite. And he liked to give me lots of gifts, and like I ate it up. Okay, this one's a fun one. So, well, I mean, they're all fun ones, but so every other weekend when I go to therapy, my dad takes me to the Goodwill, like on the other side of the road. Not really other side of the road, other side of the town, whatever. Anyway, and so, when I go thrifting, I look for VHS tapes and books. I don't really look for clothes unless I'm looking for something specific, typically for a cosplay. So, I'm looking at my little tapes, and I don't know if you know this, but sometimes, occasionally, VHS tapes will go like super high when they're still sealed. I mean, that probably goes for a lot of things, but like still sealed VHS tapes can cost a lot of money. Well, on eBay. But and so there's just one day, me and my dad were in there, and I see a tape in a like plastic case, right? And so I open the sucker up. It is a re-released edition of The Outsiders from the 90s. I believe it was 92 or 93. And it was still sealed. Y'all. Y'all. So, let's see. When was this? This was December of last year. And like, I was still kind of out of my Outsiders phase, but still kind of in it. So I was wanting to write my version of the Outsiders musical, which I did in April, I think. But still, like, favorite movie at the time, and it's sealed. So I'm going crazy. I don't think my mom was with us that day. But like, I get home and I'm like, Mother. And so the following convention, no wait, it was 2 years ago. Anyway, and so last year, at Comic-Con, one of the special guests was Thomas C. Howell. If you don't know who that is, main character of The Outsiders. And so, of course, I'm freaking out. Because I'm like, it's my man. It's Ponyboy. So we get that puppy signed. And we got it graded. And it was like a 9.8 or something like that. So, yeah. Yeah. Here's another story about VHS tapes. So, around where I live, there is a peddler's mall. It's kind of like a vendor's mall. I don't know why they call it a peddle. Well, I mean, I guess they're peddling their goods. But anyway, And so there was a booth in the far back room that had a bookshelf full of clamshells. Just don't know what that is. Those are the plastic cases that certain VHS tapes will have. Typically, like animated movies, like Disney, DreamWorks, those kinds of ones. Occasionally, there will be like live action Disney or DreamWorks. I don't think DreamWorks makes live action movies, but like, I guess gimmicky movies. Like there wouldn't be a clamshell for like The Breakfast Club or Karate Kid. But anyway, and so I'm looking through it. I see a Goofy movie. Y'all know I love a Goofy movie. Okay? That movie is goofy. Dig a little more. I see an extremely goofy movie. I'm looking a little more. I see The Road to El Dorado, which was my hyperfixation movie at the time. And then, digging around a little more, Prince of Egypt. Digging around a little more, The Nightmare Before Christmas. I spent almost $10 on VHS tapes that day. I am not the biggest fan of clamshells, okay? However, if you do it right, and if it's the right movie, I'm eating it up. Okay? I made a joke to my dad because you know how certain tapes will be colored? Like, for a lot of VeggieTales tapes are green. I don't know why that is. Some are orange, especially Nickelodeon movies. But I made a joke to my dad that The Nightmare Before Christmas tape was black. And it's funny because most VHS tapes are black. So, I just remembered this one. This has nothing to do with VHS tapes. But November, couple years ago, I want to say it was fall break. I want to say that. And so, me and my parents went to Chattanooga, Tennessee. We saw Ruby Falls. We went to Lookout Mountain, which if you didn't know, part of the Civil War was fought there, which is pretty cool. Our hotel room had roaches, and they wouldn't refund us, which was cool. And so, day after that, we were eating breakfast at the Maple Street Biscuit Company. Fantastic breakfast, by the way. And so there was a homeless man who came in from like the back side of the restaurant where they had like conference rooms and stuff. And so he was like being kind of annoying, if I remember correctly. And so police come and they're like, I guess, restraining him. What we think happened was he might have been living illegally in or around the building. And so, like, cop has him, like, against the counter and is trying to put on handcuffs. And then next thing you know, this cop grabs this homeless man by the arm and, like, ninja stars him onto the ground and starts beating him up. Hey, what is going on? And also, I forgot this. While he was, like, up against the counter, like, he was like, this is unconstitutional, this is going against my rights, this is unconstitutional, like, yelling really loudly that it was unconstitutional. But again, so, Starfish is onto the ground, beating him up, other cops come, or, like, he held him on the ground there for, like, a couple minutes, and, like, and I guess was, like, fully restraining him. And even on the ground, he was like, what are you guys doing? They're doing this to me for no reason. This is unconstitutional and going against my rights. Sometime later, more cops come. They pick him up. Guy is bleeding. Like, his face is bleeding. He gets to either a cop car or an ambulance. I don't remember. And so we overheard a statement from somebody who helped the officer, like, restrain this guy. He might have been a manager. But apparently, homeless guy reached for the gun and was like, I got your gun. And that's why he starfished him under the ground. But I digress. That was crazy. We got dinner at a show. We also went to the zoo. It was fun. Came back sick. We also went to the Little Debbie Cake Park. We got a ticket because we parked wrong. We were supposed to park, I think, front out. Or, I think? I don't remember. But we got a ticket for, a stupid reason. One time in, I want to say, 5th grade, maybe, I would ride the bus to archery practice. I'm 83% sure that that's what I was doing. And so there was one day that the bus driver was getting all of our names. And so I told her my name. And then I was spelling out my last name because it's a long Polish name and it's hard to spell. Literally. It has had every kind of spelling imaginable. And so I told her Z, and she heard C, and I kept trying to be like, no, wait, and I kept saying it's Z, it's Z, and she goes, oh, and then writes down K, and I had to be like, no, and there's a really long line of people behind me, and I felt really bad. We got it though. I think that's it. I can't think of any more stories. I'm recording this 2 months in advance, so I don't know if the prologue is up or not. If it is, go watch it. If it's not, then just wait. Yeah, okay, bye. White hair and a white shoes, neon brimming around a faded blue. Do what you can with me and do it quietly, as you do, as you do, as you do. Ashes, ashes, dust to dust, I think I found a place for us. It's down by garden, after dark, it's in my arms, it's in my arms.